plays here. Okay. So, guys, welcome back. Another week. I wanted to talk to you today a little bit about last week. We left off, we did a little bit of goal line. So first thing is, wanted to get feedback if you've digested a little bit of what we talked about last week. Because obviously there's, I do have quite another other plays that we could discuss. If you want to continue to goal line, otherwise I have prepared also other things in the pipeline that we could talk. But I wanted to get your thoughts after last week. Maybe if you've had the opportunity to think about it, and maybe if you have any questions, if you feel like we need to go a little bit more in detail, the goal line that's also open. So let's start with that one.
I think there's one thing, but not really from last week, but rather from the camp, where we talked about this when we basically play bolt in goal line or like in the last 10 yards and the linebacker has to leave and I should replace the middle zone. Like basically the last play that happened when Sunday came on the slant.
Yeah.
We talked about that just there and then. Like it would be great to kind of see that from your point of view, because I've been looking at it and I'm not entirely sure how.
Do you have the play number?
No, okay. I don't.
Do you remember which film it is?
It's last, basically last stuff of last camp.
Is it versus Norway or practice?
No, I don't think we have. I don't think we have film for that specific one. That specific one play, or I haven't found that play at least.
Okay.
So it's more that we've been running bolt in those situations against Norway.
Yeah.
And we talked about the solution to it after the last play, right?
Understood. So maybe the best way to do it is, let me just share my screen and maybe we could work with this here. I think it might be the best way to talk about it because we can visualize it if I don't have any tape on it. 1 second. Let me get everything ready here. So, look my window. Screen 2. Okay. Everyone see my screen?
Yep.
Perfect. Okay. So I can't see you guys because right now I'm sharing the. Actually, you know what? Let's do this. And never mind. Let me do this another way. I think you do this here. 1 second. Let me move this to a new tab. This way I can see you guys. So that one is there. That one I'll move over here. And then I'll share this one, and then we should be okay. So I could design. And all right, I'm just moving things around so I can see you guys. Otherwise, it's difficult for me to see. Test. Okay. Let's see here. Window 2. Okay. Can you guys see me now?
Yep.
Cool. Let's just try something out here. Okay. So For the sake of this, let's make believe here's the goal line, just to simplify this, right?
Yep.
And somewhere around here, I don't know, they get around here somewhere is the back pylon, okay?
Yep.
Let me move this out of the way. Okay, so the movement the way we want it to be. First of all, when we're lining up, we have a rusher, linebacker, based on where they line up. Obviously, let's make believe the rusher will be here, linebackers are here. Okay, and we have the safety coming somewhere around there, right? These guys are moving a little bit more in, right? Because we want to be in 2 yards in, okay? Everyone okay with this alignment right here, okay?
Yes.
So if this is the front of the goal line, right, the front line, whenever I say that we want you guys to stay flat, okay, that's the first thing. Rusher comes up here, he's going in, right? So what we want to do is we want you guys to basically play hugging, basically more or less not giving that much space in front of that, okay? And obviously, Simon, depending where you are, you want to play here, okay? What I don't want to see, if we start off with Simon, with you, in how we playing this, is I don't want to see you playing back here.
Yep.
Does that make sense?
Yep.
So every time we are within like 10, 12 yards in, when we're playing this, I don't want to see you coming from here and basically bailing there. There is no need for that. Okay. So your positioning should be basically, we're starting off here, just slightly behind them or somewhere shadowing, depending where the routes are going, obviously, right? But this is basically the area where you should be moving to be. You understand what I mean?
Yep.
Because when you're playing that area, okay, if we have this route, let's make believe this is a route runner that's coming out this way, right? And then we want the linebacker to follow, then it's very easy for you to just come in and replace down below, right? So what's happening in the plays is, if you've been traditionally coming here and protecting the backside, coming a little bit too deep.
Yep.
So as soon as you do that, the backside of this, the problem that happens is when they take this out, it's very hard for you to get in front of that route.
Yeah, exactly.
So obviously, this is all basically related to down and distance and scenarios. If we know that these guys are going a lot on the backside, like France has this play where they go 2 back guys here and then 2 guys in the front, we might make adjustments, right? But ultimately, if I look at most of the tape that I've been seeing in the games that I've been seeing, what do guys usually try to do? Okay. Rusher, now for the purpose of this example, we might play the rusher as a receiver, but what do these guys got to do? These guys always try to get in front of the goal line, of the pylons, and just position themselves there. Why? Because they're hoping, or they're anticipating, that corners in general bail. You understand what I mean? So even when we play on the goal line, corners tend to have a tendency to bail, right? Whether you play an outside or in. So what you're doing is you're afraid of getting beat on the deep side, right? Even in goal line. So a lot of the play designs are to basically mimic and just sit in the front of the pylon, right? Because there is no contact. You can't you can't hit the player from behind and make him drop the ball here, right? So it's enough for these guys to just position themselves in front of the pylon to make sure that they get the ball, right? So what we want to then try to do is make sure that we play tight to this line, make sure no one gets, and also from that perspective, understand that if they go outside deep, then we trail with inside position, right? But I don't have these guys sitting here. Does that make sense?
Yep.
So it's the same principle for you then, Simon. If we are lined up there, and then we have a linebacker playing here, and then you're playing slightly right behind him. If this guy comes out here and then he goes hard that way, linebacker stays on the top, then it's easy for you to just replace him right there. Does that make sense?
Yep.
So it's difficult if you're playing hugging the back line, then it's difficult to come up. So, So this is something that you should keep an eye on. Okay.
Yep.
And for corners, from that perspective, when we bring you inside here, guys, they have 2 choices, right? They go deep, and then we play inside shade. So if they trail the backside, we stay underneath them, right? Does that make sense? If we play here and they go deep this way, we play them and shade them outside, right? Now, one of the things that we want to do is we want to stay here and hope that the free safety then covers the guy that coming across over the top if something comes that way. You understand what I mean? So we need to make sure that we protect the short zones with the guys that are here, and then the free safety linebackers. When we're playing inside like that, we need to make sure we stay over the top. You understand? And try to avoid that bad play. However, if let's say in this particular case, this receiver is going out that way, and linebacker is trailing him this way, our job as a quarterback, especially if there's a guy sitting here, our job as a cornerback is to protect the guy that's sitting here. But once the ball is in the air, try to come up here to compete that ball. You understand what I mean? Corners, do you understand what I mean? Why we do that? Even if you don't touch the ball, even if you don't get the ball, just the mere fact that you're there and putting your hands up there when the ball's in the air. So you don't leave your guy until the ball's in the air. That's very specific, right? You stay with your guy if a guy's short. So the progression of this is, let's say this is another receiver. This guy comes here and sits here, right? He sits there. This guy comes here and goes there, right? So we have the linebacker sitting there. Now the ball needs to traverse from here all the way over there, right? So as soon as the ball's in the air, then we could get rid of this guy and basically position ourselves here, sort of to create like a shade. You understand what I mean? Because that already makes it more difficult for the receiver to look at the ball. You understand what I mean? So whenever we have the situations where we're playing tight on a cover 3, and we have, for example, they're trying to do this high-low principle in the corners, right? Corners, once you have your guy covered, meaning you're tight on him, you're looking at the quarterback, he's going to put the ball over the top, then you open up and get back as quick as possible and just go up in the air and just wave your arms around and try to make sure that you limit the view of that receiver. Does that make sense? Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, makes sense.
Did that clarify any questions, your questions, Simon?
Yeah, absolutely.
Good. Okay. So some of you guys were late. So what I asked everyone was that if there was any questions or any comments from last week, if you have any thoughts about what we went goal line, if you guys feel like we need to go a little bit more over goal line, you feel a little bit comfortable where we discussed and how we are and what we talked about.
I have one question regarding something you said to me 2 camps ago when we were in Gothenburg. But I don't know if we implemented that, and that is if I'm blitzing from one of the sides, and we can see straight off the snap that the QB runs to the other side. So I'm like really doing nothing in the beginning. Should I go for the QB, or what you told me about, but what we maybe should look into is to just go straight sideways and try to cover a zone or something backfield?
Yeah. So usually when they do this rollout play, this is something that I actually going to talk about this with the coaching staff and see how we implement this, because we need to check some more goal line discussions that we have, and we want to have this ready for the next camp. So this is like this goal line situation is something that we'll discuss and see. This is an option for us. We just haven't really decided how we want to do it. If we want to cover with 5 or we need to have a rusher in there. Because what we could potentially do is we could have the other thing we thought about doing is maybe having like a blitz, cornerback blitz, sort of like a cornerback blitz, right? So we have Coach Stennis, which have designed a corner blitz, and it could potentially be used. For example, we have this is an automatic call when there's a rollout to the cornerback side. Since we're all lined up, maybe depending where we are, obviously, but in certain situations we might line up the cornerback at 7 yards as well, and sort of shift the defense over. You understand what I mean? So we sort of show like we're going to play box cover 2 on one side, right? So we showing that we have someone underneath and someone on the top, but then we have the cornerback just rushing in from that side. If the quarterback sort of goes on that side, and then we would have the rusher moving into the backside zone. This is a potential like discussion that we're that we're currently thinking about but haven't decided yet. So we need to test it out how the timing works. It's all about the timing, and everything looks good when you draw it up on paper.
Yeah, it sounds good. You just need to know your assignments, and it needs to be communicated who goes, because that affects how everyone should sort the people.
Correct. So yeah, this is something that we'll be deciding. We need to finalize this week how we're going to handle that situation. But this is one of the options that we had. Good. Anyone else about goal line? Do you guys feel like the goal line discussion last week was sufficient, or do you feel like you want to discuss more? As I said, I have plays ready more for defense if you want. Otherwise, we could look at other scenarios of other type of other plays.
I think it made sense last week.
Okay.
So.
All right. Okay, then let's look at other scenarios that we have. So I want to show some good, some bad, some ugly. But it's important that we get to understanding where we stand. Okay. So first things first, let me share my screen again. Here we go.
Oh, and by the way, all the Israel games are now fixed, so you can go in and check them out. So
yeah, everyone thank Coach Dennis for tagging the films. He's been tagging them for me so I could pull out the data. So all the 3 games are tagged now. Soon, if you're in Huddle, you will see that there's a play number. So for example, it says Israel, whatever the number of the play is, it says Israel 5, Israel 6, Israel whatever. So basically what it is all of these plays, I have designed them as well. So when you get the coaching or the scouting report, you will get a copy of all of the plays as well written down. So then you're able to see. Some of these plays have multiple concepts, meaning the same route concepts, basically, or they have basically options, but they're self-explanatory. So you'll be able to see the plays designed when we provide you the coaching. What do you call it? The scouting report. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about coverages and some of the things that we've seen, which I think are important with regards to communication. Again, going back to our defense and the foundation that we have, it's very dependent on communication, basically application of right tactics, right reads at the right time, basically trusting your instincts and making a play for the ball, right? Playing aggressively, down in distance, understanding situational football, right? It's all about situational football. So first things first, identify what are we playing here. Okay, so what do we have here? Okay, the first thing that I see here is the communication. Okay, we have a player. He's rolling over, right? He's leaving the zone. Now Simon's staying put. What does that tell me if Simon's staying put?
It's a bump call.
Is it a bump call?
It should be if it's staying put.
Yeah. Well, it's also definitely it's definitely not Sarah Truls, right? Because if it would have been Sarah Truls, someone should be following there, right? Right? But it could be Sarah Truls, but it could be a bump call. What I like here is that what I want you to reflect on is, number one, how we communicate and what it does when we communicate on the field. So here, first thing, a little bit late on the communication. Okay, that's the only thing. If I have to critique something, here's a little bit late, right? Because he's already there. We already know where he's going, correct? So the communication could be a little bit early. But Simon identifies it. Victor identifies it. We're all identifying it. You understand what I mean? It's a split second late, but we are all on the same page, guys. Okay? This is what is extremely important for you to understand, right? The play comes out here. We are all on the same page, right? Why are we on the same page? Let's tie on the play side here. Okay. Peder, he's communicating. You're communicating. Basically, you're telling Peder you need to pick that guy up. Peder's telling there's a guy coming down here. You're telling the player to go up there. Simon, you telling to roll over. You Simon automatically know, and you Victor automatically know there's a guy coming over. That means you are all aware of who has who in this situation, and we are covered. Basically, we've adapted the play. Within the first second of the play, the ball is snapped. Okay, it took us a second, but we are adjusted. Okay, again, half a second too late, but besides that, everything here I like. Adjustment is made. Okay, Pedro is closing off the angle. Okay, here, the only thing, Julian, he's your guy, right? If you see your angle here, you're still opening up your hips, right? So there, I would like you to just to basically stay put or drop down and straight down, right? We don't need to create more separation between you and the player, okay? But besides that, at least the reads are there. In this particular case, I think we have Simon covering this guy because here the communication again is clear that Victor's taking the backside guy deep, and we are all basically covering everything, okay? This is a clear example of what happens when things that we're not expecting, like this, okay, something like this. We have a guy basically crossing over the field. This is a perfect example how communication facilitates our playing on the field. Now we have an advantage. As I said, the only thing that we could improve here is the half second too late and Julian's angle here, basically how he plays this, right? His step, he's taking an angle step outside. That way, I would just let him to plant his foot on a T-step and straight down, right? Because then we close the gap on that player and minimize the yards gained, right? But then even if he does that, let me rewind this because it's difficult to see. But they're starting around this cone here, somewhere around there, right? Somewhere around this line. So if we let the play roll now, okay, right there, basically they started the ball somewhere around here. You see my mouse? You see that? How many yards is he getting there? About 3, right? 3 to 4 yards right now where he catches the ball, right?
Yeah.
So if Julian would have taken a quicker, better angle there, he could have been a little bit closer. We would have minimized to maximum 5 yards, okay? Now he gets basically maybe another yard, okay? So the difference between 5 and 6 yards, so 4 and 5 yards, is that little step, okay? Obviously, when we're coming out in this situation where they're coming out from their goal line out, we want to minimize as many plays as possible under 5 yards, right? Because 5 times 4 is 20, and then they get a first down. So we want to make sure that we try to minimize them on an average to 4 yards or less. Then we're doing the right thing, especially in the early downs. But in this situation, the reason I chose this play is because all in all, I think it reflects how communication can affect the play on the field. Yeah. Questions, comments? No. Good. Let's go to the next one. Okay. So next play. Here we need to understand what are they trying to do. Okay, so let's think a little bit about this. I don't know what down it is. I'm not really sure, but let's think about where they are on the field. Okay, it could be 3rd down, it could be maybe 4th down. I really don't know what it is. But the first thing we need to understand is when we see this formation, what are they trying to do, guys? What should we be worrying about?
Overloading or the right side.
Correct, right? That they're trying to space that out. So basically, this is they probably want to overload and isolate someone on one side. This is basically a concept that they might run, right? It makes the most sense because you want to go to the open areas of the field, right? You don't want to keep like 3 routes on the same area here. That would be very, very difficult. So you either want to isolate someone going over that, But this is the threat zone right here. Does that make sense? This is where you want to make sure that they want it. So having that, especially the guys, I would say not the guy on the outside, but these three guys, you guys have to be on alert that some people are going to start moving that way. Okay? You understand what I mean? So that's something just to be alert, especially when you're thinking about, okay, which angle should I take, right? How should I position myself? How should I play with regards to this particular play? Like, meaning, should I drop straight back? Should I open up more? You understand what I mean? Should I play a little bit more over the top because he might be coming on the corner route? For example, Simon here, right? Am I too worried about going here? No, because I could cover that. So maybe I could, when he's coming out, I should just cheat over a little bit more just in case, because there's so much more space here. Understand what I mean? So
Yep.
These are the type of things we want to try thinking about when we see this. Okay. Next play, we roll it over. Okay. So what do we have here for formation wise? What are we calling? What do you guys think? What's the call here?
Given Victor's reaction, I'd say it's Sarah, but
I agree.
Okay. So here, it's about botch play.
Yep.
Right? So I don't know what the call is, but regardless of the call, we're not playing man, right? But given, as I agree with you, given what Victor is looking, because Victor is reading here, he's focusing here, he's looking and he's following over across the top, right? So he's following him, right? Okay. So first of all, assignments wise, we're missing it here. It should be either Sarah, or it could be that we are doing, I don't know. I don't know if it's Mondo, but even if it's Mondo, it's still wrong. But regardless of the call that we have here, it's still a botch play because there's two things that we're missing. Number one, what's happening here on this rotation right there? What do we have this guy doing?
Still a bomb call on that, to be honest.
Yeah. Right. So we're gonna
It's the
see a lot.
same.
Sorry, who said that?
No, I was going to say it's basically the same kind of first look, apart from being trips, than it was the last play. It's just tighter.
Yeah.
So I don't know what the call was, but yeah.
So basically, this is the reason why I put this together, right? So you see what happens when we don't communicate, right? And we don't react properly. We don't communicate. Here is the same thing. Basically, if you see the play, how it develops, is the same amount of time development. If you look at the clock here, and you look at the last play before, basically the same length of time goes between how the play develops, right? And this play develops. It's basically the same thing, okay? Maybe he's hesitating a little bit more than the last receiver on his bail. Maybe he's going a little bit more vertical at the beginning. But regardless of that, you guys have plenty of time to make a read on that, right?
Yep.
But in this particular play, we're not reading and we're not communicating, okay? So what happens when we don't read and we don't communicate? Here we should have bump call, right? If we would have a bump call, that would mean Piedre automatically drops down. Then Julian, you could pick that guy up, right? Simon, you take this guy right here. And then Victor, you follow that guy deep, correct?
Yep.
Correct?
Yes.
Anyone disagree with that? No. Okay. What happens though on the backside? Okay, both Simon and Victor, both of you missed the bump call there. We don't communicate, and then we just start reacting. Okay, and in this particular option, we were lucky. Okay, And we were lucky because of Oscar. Because Gustavo sees a Bigfoot coming at him, and I don't think he could see that the backside player on the backside post or the backside fade is wide open. This is a touchdown play. You understand? These are not the plays that I'm happy to see. Meaning, these are not the plays that we want to give up touchdowns on. All right? I don't mind that we give up touchdowns where we're competing, right? When we are, but this is a clear-cut mistake because we're not in the right mindset. When the ball is snapped, we're not focused. I don't know what we're focused on. I don't know if the play before have us shook up. I have no idea what happened here. But we are not playing to the call, whatever the call is. This is not a defense that I recognize. Do any of you recognize this defense? I don't recognize this defense. So already there, we fucked up. All right. Number 2, same lapse of time that the last play came. Same lapse of time as the previous play. Here, we don't make a communication or adjustment call, and we are all lost. And that gives the opponent the opportunity to have one guy completely open on the backside. Okay. This is a touchdown play right here. And this is not acceptable. Okay. On top of that, on this side here, if we look at this, yeah, they're covering that guy. Julian, if you're going to go for him, okay, that's fine. Never mind. It's okay. It's a good, all right, I know. I'm not going to give you shit for that one. Okay. But do you guys understand the difference? So I'm going to show you now the last play before, because I think it's relevant for you to see it. So we'll lapse both of them back to back. This is the play before. Okay. Everyone got that?
Yep.
This is the last play. What's the difference here, guys? What are they doing differently? Nothing. Maybe the only difference, as I said, is basically this receiver maybe staggered a little bit on the second one. But here, communication, right? Adjustments, reaction, we're all on point. We all know who we're covering. Boom. We're there, right? Looks beautiful. Looks beautiful. Huh? Looks like we're fucking actually a football team. Huh? Here, looks like we're playing Pee-wee, and it's the same fucking play. More or less. The concept is the same. The formation is different, yes, right? Formation is different. But the route combination, the route concept is basically the same, more or less. Yep. Correct? Right? We have a bump call here. All right? Okay.
Like, yes, to be honest, it looks like me and Julian are playing Mondo. Because I'm locking before he's even... And Julian's not even looking, he's looking straight down and taking up the out route or the cross.
Yeah, it could be
So,
that we.
yeah.
It could be it could be Mondo, but either way, we still fucked it up.
Yeah, fair enough.
And even there again, I think for the most part, whenever we see these type of plays, that we have a guy coming over, if we call a bump call, it's so much easier for us to cover them, right? Such an easy adjustment for us to make. When we do a good job, when we make the bump calls properly, we make a really good job of covering them. You understand what I mean?
Yep.
Yeah, I just have one question on the previous play.
Yeah.
Yeah, is it because they are playing spread that we don't let the corner pick up the short route? Or is that communicated on the field in this case? Because
I
now
would
it's
say-
go ahead.
I
Who
think
was
we're calling Julian and Screamer stay more or less, because you can see the crossing route and go down on it, and I'm already sprinting full speed and it's too far for him to run back. So I think we're calling stay on it. That's why we're bumping, and then we say
Bumping
stay.
and then communicating the extra step.
Yeah, stay. Like, I think at least it looks like it.
because in this case, what I see here is I see Julian basically pointing to Peder. If you see his finger, he's pointing at this guy right here, right? So that would tell me that he's telling Peder, you pick that guy up, right? So that's, I think, what Peder is doing. And then if you see Peder's finger right there, you see Peder's hand? Peder's pointing at that guy, right? You see his finger right there? So I think right there, they're just exchanging. Again, communication, right? We have a way to play it, right, Martin? So your question is right, but this is a perfect example how we put ourselves in the best position to compete, right? And this is how you do it, by communicating on the field, right?
Yeah, I was just misinterpreting Simon and Lopez pointing then. I was more in the mode that, oh, something is coming over.
Yeah. And ideally, if they wouldn't have, if you have a bump call and they would have communicated that, yes, Peder should have dropped down, right? And then Lopez should have gone over the top, right? But in this particular play, I think they felt more comfortable than just switching it up. So that's fine by me, right? Makes it, it's okay.
I think this might also be stall, and we're just switching in the middle. So it's basically just our guys switching places. It might be that's the case play call wise. Hence why the outsides are just locked into man
It could also,
initially as well.
it could also,
yeah.
could be, absolutely. So it's hard to 100% certainty, but again, the moral of the story, it's
communication.
Communication. Right? That just shows the importance when we see similar things. So the purpose of this was to show you guys also that we could cover these things, like the same right concepts we could cover with the defenses. It's not that we can't cover certain things. Often than not, it's when we not communicating properly, we're missing things, and this is a problem that we need to just continue to get better at, communication on the field. Okay. So next play here. Okay. What do we have here then? We have two quarterback concept, right? We have one quarterback dropping back, second quarterback. What I like here and what I don't like here. What do I like here? Okay, a few things. Number one, we are reacting and basically communicating. Okay, so here we have two quarterback concepts. I see Neil screaming. Okay, so informing there's two quarterbacks talking to the rusher. Great. We need to be alert and we need to communicate on that. Here, we're locked on our players. Here we have our safety, basically understanding the situation. It's probably long play, right? Long developing play, because if they're going to quarterbacks, they need a lot of yardage, right? So the free safety, I assume, I don't know if he's here. I don't see him. Malte is not here, right?
No, he's not.
Okay. So I assume Malte understands the situation. So what is he working towards? He's staying over the top of the receiver, right? Okay. Martin here. You're turning. If you see yourself here, you're turning yourself there. The only thing I would do, Martin, differently is what? In this particular way.
Can you roll it forward?
No.
Okay, maybe squeeze me a bit more towards the
Correct.
sideline.
Exact. So if you see here, you're basically almost running parallel, right, to him. So you see all that space you give him. You don't slow down his momentum there. Does that make sense? If you would have just taken a small step when you open up your hips this way here, what do you force him to do then for one step?
Yeah, I'm gonna force him one step a bit at an angle instead of.
And then you're gonna get him,
straight up.
and then you have the advantage, right?
Yeah.
But now he has the advantage there. So this is like a small little thing That's why when we, remember when we practice the drill when we do next to each other, and I always want you to put your hand in front of them, right? Is because when you do that, it's going to get you in the habit of getting in front of him, and forcing him to get outside of you. Yeah, it's not about holding the player, but it's just getting used to position yourself so you can feel that player. Because when you do that, when we do this drill and you do that, then he's going to force you to get closer to him, and that's going to force him to get wider outside. Does that make sense? So that's also is going to put you in a better position to compete with him. Okay. Ty. Okay, wrong technique. First of all, you need to open up to the inside, right? And that's why you get beat. Okay, that's a touchdown play on the backside. So make sure, same thing there. You need to open up to the inside, okay? And when you open up to the inside right here, you need to take away that vertical angle. Same with the same technique that we just discussed here, Martin, okay? All right? Now, what I do like here is we understand the concept, okay? We're all locked in on the on the receivers. We're playing basically for the most part the right technique here. If you see Malte on the backside, he's staying over the top. I would prefer him to take more a step down, but besides that, we're at least on top of him. But Nils is playing very smart, and I like the way he's playing it here. All right, he steps down. He has the second quarterback in view, but he's also protecting what?
The flat.
Exactly. So he's making that play difficult. And also, this is why I also wanted to show this example. So remember when I told you earlier today how to play the goal line situations when you're playing as a corner? This is exactly what I mean, okay? More or less. Make believe here there's a receiver. He's playing that receiver, okay? Ball's in the air. Get up there and try to put your hands up there. Now, I would ask for a little bit more of athletic move, maybe jump up and try to get the ball. But at least the idea is there. Try to negate the view of the receiver when he's on the crossing route there. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Okay. That facilitates the play, makes it a more difficult throw across the board, and I think that gives us in a competition that could have been a pick as well. All right. Questions about this one? Okay. Here wasn't so much about communication, more about technique and placement and understanding how you position yourself in those situations where you're playing basically two players at the same time, more or less. Okay. Questions about that one? No? Okay, let's see. Where are we now? Yeah, have that next play ready. Okay. What do we have here?
Double quarterback.
Perfect. Okay, what are we doing in double quarterback, guys? What do we need to think about? Who has who?
Linebacker has the number one in this case because the extra is on the left side and blitzer goes to Gustavo.
Correct. Everyone got that? Anyone disagree with that?
Nope, sounds good to me.
Okay. So in this particular scenario, what happens now? We start with the quarterbacks. Everyone's assignment is clear, right? What happens now?
Corner shoot.
What do we have here?
Triple quarterback.
Huh?
Triple quarterback corner shoots, right?
Triple quarterback, yes. So what does that mean?
I guess
Cornerback shoot.
I would say the blitzer and linebacker stays for the original read, and then the corner shoots up, or maybe depending on the call, it's the. Yeah, I guess it's the corner. Yeah, I like that.
Right? And then you have free safety over the top, right?
Yeah.
And then you have this guy over the top there. Correct?
Yep.
Okay. Is that clear then when we see the situations? Any questions about that? Rushers? Any
Do-
questions?
I guess my question is, do we want to line up like I guess it's Zach, like he does now, standing? Or do we have anything saying where we should line up if we see this pre-snap? There, it's 2 quarterbacks.
So, responsibility-wise, we are clear how we should play it. If you want to stay around line of scrimmage and basically protect, any route, right? Fine, and then rush the quarterback once he gets the ball, right? If you want to do that, fine, right? Then the guy that's rushing the quarterback is the guy that has the ball, and then you guys basically play the field sort of like a quarterback spy. Is that what you mean, Oscar?
No, my question was more pre-snap.
Yeah.
Go back pre-snap.
Yeah.
So you're talking about the alignment.
Yeah, where should I line up? Do we have a rule if we see this that we should stand like Zach does now to the left side from where we look at this now, or do we have anything?
Where's the strength of the field?
Well, I don't know. In the middle.
Where's the strength of the field? Anyone have a guess?
Oh, okay, you're meaning strong right, or
Yeah, where is the strength of the field?
Strong right.
This side here?
no,
No,
We're defense X. You got to turn it around.
Yeah, this side?
Yeah.
Exactly. So they have more guys on this side of the field, right? So that's the strength of the defense. So how do we make that? How do we line up in that, Oscar? Who has the weak side then? Where does the linebacker line up?
Like it does now.
Correct. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, depending on what we scout, but yeah.
Yeah. So he could obviously now he could line up head up if you want to line up here for whatever reason, Oscar. So let's say you feel like you want to rush this way, you can still do that. Linebacker, all he needs to do is basically line up head up. But what we don't want is obviously the linebacker lining up here, right? So it's okay if you want to rush from this side to move him over, he can play head up, right? And then you line up there. That's not a problem. But when it comes to how our assignments are made based on the playbook, this is the correct lineup, right? So he shouldn't be moving over the half of the field. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. Yes.
So rusher-wise, you could decide if you want to rush through this side because you feel like something it helps you because of this particular play. Just make sure he moves over a little bit more to the middle. And that's fine. But then if that would happen, Lopez, what are the responsibilities? Julian.
Oh, we need to get off his bike.
yeah, it's on the bike.
He could talk. Can he talk?
I think he's muted.
I think he's trying to, but I don't think we can hear him.
I don't know if it works. Now maybe.
Now it does. Now it does.
Hey, wonderful. In what way? I'm sorry.
Okay.
Yes.
Did you understand what we said?
Yeah, about the lineup
Yeah. So
and the
in
rusher.
So
Yeah.
Oscar in this particular place, this is what he sees, and now he sees Oscar. This
Yeah.
is you, and Oscar decides to line up here, and he
Yeah.
decides to move you here.
Yeah.
What happens then? Who has who?
He's original. This is quarterback number 1, the one behind the rusher, and then I go for the second quarterback lineup on the left side.
Perfect.
Gustavo in that case.
Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. That's all.
I have sort of a hypothetical here, X, but say that we're in yellow.
Yeah.
Would you want me to do rushing the third quarterback then because I'm the only one on 7? Or the safety in that case? Since the other guys can't go off the ball, or would they just scout the last one? Sort
That's
of
a good-
hypothetical. I don't know how many times we'll end up in this case.
Yeah. No, because so realistically, correct me if I'm wrong, but if the first quarterback gets the ball and throws it to the second quarterback, do you still need to be at 7 yards to rush?
Then anyone can go.
Exactly.
Yep.
So then that's the only, so then we stick to it, right?
Right.
Even 4
Yep.
yards, because then whoever's covering that guy here, in this case, could just sit and wait here, right? Like a QB spy, and
Yep.
wait till he gets the ball and then go. So that's
Makes
fine.
sense.
Okay, good. Let's see the next one, last one for the night that I have prepared. Okay, and no questions about 3 quarterbacks. We're clear on that, how to play that. We're clear on who has what and what the assignments are.
Yes.
Perfect. Okay,
Yeah, can I just ask one question then?
on,
So in the,
on the last play,
no, on the free QB.
Yeah.
But so in the example we had earlier, then we stayed with the linebacker going for like the second, and then we had the corner coming down on the third.
yeah,
But if they don't line up 2 QBs from the start, and then
Okay.
go from 1 QB to 3,
yeah,
then we just go heads up, right?
yeah. Then it's heads up. Correct. Then it's always the rusher will take the middle quarterback, and whoever heads up on the 2 other QBs drop back and play those guys.
Yeah, great.
Cool. Okay. Final play. You guys ready? Okay,
Go.
let's roll it. What do we have here?
Side pitch.
Correct. So what do we do on side pitch?
2 guns.
Okay. So if we have side pitch, we could go here, Oscar, right?
Yeah.
That's your responsibility. Okay. However, if you read it and you feel comfortable reading it, that it's a run, I don't mind doing you doing that. Okay. I don't mind. But what happens then in this particular, how do we make this adjustment? So this is a smart play. This is why I selected this, because in the playbook, we've decided that in this play, Oscar goes here, right? That's what we said, correct? And then everyone keeps the responsibility. However, Oscar in his path reads it and adjusts and wants to make a play on the ball, okay? Which is fine. But what do we need to do on the backfield if we see an adjustment made by our teammate there?
I should
I
stick
need to move over 1 position.
You need to move, yes. Which position, Julian?
Original quarterback, then it's mine.
Correct. Beautiful. Fuck, I'm gonna start to cry soon because you guys are so smart.
I'll probably fuck up the play anyway, but I mean, now I know this.
At least you know it theoretically now.
Yeah, at least makes me happy. Okay, perfect. So, and then Julian, one other thing that you need to do if you're doing that, what's that?
I mean, what I would do there is try to play the short zone before, because the quarterback is so far away.
Yeah,
So I can still play the short zone.
Yeah.
And depending if they have I mean, I can help out on that side. That's what I can
yeah,
do.
that's perfect. So what you just said is what I want to hear. But one other thing, just make sure that you communicate with Peder as well there. You understand? Or Peder, just so he knows that, I got QB1. You understand what I mean? So he knows that this guy on the backside is his. Now, Peder understands what's going on, so he reads it and he's sticking to him. But it wouldn't hurt to just say to him, like, I got QB1. Then if you decide to sit here, like you just do, and still have quarterback 1, that's fine. That just makes things easier for Peder, right? But just that small communication so he knows, okay, this is my guy. There is no doubt, right? Does that make sense? But what you said is exactly what I want to see in this adjustment, right? So basically you're there, you're here, you have that guy, right? And now we're crossing over. Now, Simon on the backside here is we're sitting put. Okay, we're looking. Your eyes are on the right players, right? This is what I like, Simon. Your eyes are on the right player. Your hips could be a little bit more squared because now it's difficult for you to just play. But if you stay squared and you keep your eyes on him, it's fine. But I like the way you understand the play development, right? Because right now, everything that's happening in the backfield is not a threat to you, right?
Yep.
Your threat is him, right? So that's your threat. Now, on this side, Victor, You're following him. This guy leaves you, and then we're aggressively coming down on a run, right? Now, what I want to see from here is it's a run play. He's coming in, you're coming in. And then from there, who else needs to come in? You come in and you come in and fill in, right? That's the run responsibility, right? And then who has the hero angle?
Peder to the backside.
Peder has a hero angle.
Yay.
Okay. Everyone got that?
Yeah, but if you go back to the handover.
Yes, sir. On the handover.
Yeah.
There.
If I go for this, I guess my responsibility is still the slot, right? Because I can't, I should have backup to the outside.
But he could still keep the ball.
Yeah.
So, yes, that's why we said now he's going on the backside. So the rule is, the guy that you see his eyes, you can't see no eyes there. But this is the guy that's going to be facing Victor, right?
Yeah,
This
we
guy-
talked about this last week. Exactly this play. It should be like a divide kind of theory.
Yeah, exactly. So if this guy Victor picks him up, and then you stick with this guy.
Exactly.
Okay, that is correct. So you shouldn't fall hard because he keeps that ball. Then he has an angle there. The good thing is we have two guys that are staying put and staying disciplined, right? So we're covering the backside, so we're secure there. If you mess up, but yes, in theory, you want to make sure you secure that guy first. Okay. Now I'm going to give you the benefit of doubt, and tell you that you see the ball handed over, and that's where you go. That's fine. Okay. Trying to make a play on the ball, but yes, theoretically, that's how it should be.
Yeah.
Good. Those were the few examples I wanted to discuss today. That I thought we just want to make sure we were on the same page even for the next camp. So you guys ready to go?
Yeah.
Okay, goal line. Are we going to see improvements on the goal line?
Yes.
Do we understand now? We want to see where our eyes should be and what should we be focusing on, especially when we're in the situations. Good.
Yep.
We understand 2 quarterbacks concept, 3 quarterback concepts. We feel comfortable with that. And the most important thing about these 2 sessions is communication. Communication. The most important thing. You guys got to talk. All right. As I said, I look forward to seeing you guys. We have a lot of work to do, but hopefully you receive a scout report on sometimes Tuesday or Wednesday this week. I'll try to finalize it so you get the Israel one. So at least we'll have that one to focus on. I think that's, in my opinion, a very key matchup for us. I personally want to think that the other 3 games we could handle quite easily. That is my hope. Not that we're being cocky, but I'm watching a little bit of what I've seen. I think we have the ability to do that. So for me personally, the key game that I see is Israel and France. Israel, if we lose to Israel, then we need to beat France to go to the next phase of the playoffs. And if we beat Israel, then we're basically 1 step in. So this is why I decided to scout Israel first, because I think this is, and hopefully with the scouting report, we'll be practicing a little bit of those things and understanding what they're doing, and maybe do a little bit of their plays in camp as well. Okay.
We play
Yeah. go ahead.
Israel first day, right? Like at 1 or something.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
France is the last group stage game, right? All right.
Correct.
So we know how important or what result we need against France is going to be, right? Yep.
Correct. My hope is that we are all set because we beat Israel, and then we could just have fun that last game and surprise and shock the motherfuckers and take over the group. That's my goal. Yeah. So super excited. Again, really looking forward to seeing you guys. I sort of got used to seeing your faces after 2 weekends in a row, so it's been difficult now 2 weeks without seeing you. So look forward to seeing you guys. If you have any questions, reach out to me. I hope these sessions have been helpful. I think we will go cover some of the topics that we're a bit uncertain about. But if you have anything else you want to talk about, just give me a holla. Otherwise, I'll see you guys on Friday evening.
Great job, everyone.
Take care, guys.
Later.
Bye.
Okay, boys.
Bye.
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 Bye bye.